Firebase Z, the second map inside of Cold War and DLC 1 of Cold War. Normally in these zombies games, we actually get 2 maps at launch, however Cold War only had 1 being Die Maschine. Definitely understandable given the circumstances they had to go through to make this game, but this map though, is it good? Well, let's get into it. Starting us off with the good parts about the map, I would like to talk about this map's new, or should I say returning perk, Tombstone. Yes, Tombstone actually makes an appearance in this map for the first time inside of Cold War Zombies' DLC cycle, and Tombstone behaves exactly like it did in Black Ops 2 with some added quality of life changes, plus combining Tombstone with Who's Who. Yeah, just exactly like Who's Who, you can revive yourself in a shadow form. But unlike Who's Who, you actually don't get your starting pistol, and you actually get to keep all your resources when you're in the shadow form, making it a much better perk. Tombstone was already decent, and so was Who's Who, but combining them into one perk, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion too, was just a great idea. And something else that was a great idea about this map is this map's new wonder weapon, the Ray K-84, which is actually made with recovered schematics from the Mark IIIs from Garage Crovey, which is just super awesome. This is what I really do like about the Dark Ether story. It's just like bringing old stuff back, sort of, and putting a huge twist on it. And that's what the Ray K-84 is. It's a ray gun rifle. It should be noted the ray gun isn't on this map. This marks the first Ether Zombies map that does not have the ray gun. I know, it's a very insane thing to think about. However, the Ray K definitely picks up the slack from the ray gun. Of course, it's a rapid-fire assault rifle with an awesome flourish animation, and the gun itself looks awesome. It's super easy to build in like all maps nowadays. We can actually get the wonder weapon for free through a side quest, and this thing is a powerhouse, as just like the Mark IIIs, you can actually fire a different type of shot. If you press up on your D-pad, you shoot like a volcano shot out. Shooting the single shot with the rapid fire shot will, just like the Mark IIIs, instead of causing a black hole, will actually cause an alternate type of effect to happen, where a huge explosion takes place, going through all objects and one-shotting zombies on any round if it's level 3 packed. This is an awesome wonder weapon, and it's something you want to get every single time you play. Another great feature about Firebase Z specifically are the assault rounds. Every 10 rounds, starting from round 12 or so, a section of the map will actually be closed off, and a marker will appear above that section. You need to go over there and then defend this area's generators, like Origins. You turn on the generators to get the power and pack-a-punch on. You need to defend the generator from all the zombies. This can be very difficult, but the good news is about this, you actually get a free score streak, so you can use that to help you take out the zombies. You need to make sure the zombies cannot get past you because they'll start attacking the generator. It should be noted though that the generator does have a decent amount of health, but the amount of zombies can be very difficult and they can take you down if you're not being careful. But a huge twist gets put on this entire concept when you hit round 30 or so. Starting from round 30's assault wave, you'll actually get a boss fight being called the Orda. The Orda was alluded to in Die Maschine during like around 50 Zetsubo kind of Easter egg where you could see him outside the map. However, we actually get to see the Orda in full force here. And the Orda doesn't really make this too much harder. However, the Orda does have a lot of health, and the Orda will be able to destroy the generator much faster. While the Orda has a lot of health, there isn't really a consequence to losing the generator. You don't die, nothing really bad happens except the power for that part of the map goes off, and you just need to turn it back on. I think the assault rounds are pretty cool. However, they do get a little annoying because I think they're just a little too frequent even for being for 10 rounds apiece. However, it only appears on this map, and it really makes this map stick out, so I think it is a good thing. Something else that's great is the return of the Hellhounds. Yeah, Hellhounds actually make a return. The Hellhounds are the same way, except these Hellhounds run up to you and then kamikaze themselves pretty much, leaving behind some fire. If you walk through it, you'll take damage, but so will the enemies. It's just like the Plague Hounds. Pretty good addition overall. Another great addition is actually this map's new mini-boss, and I guess poster child, the Mimic. These guys are like, you know, I guess bargain bin Margwas. However, the only real difference is these guys can take place of various objects around the map. They mimic the environment. They can become a really good piece of gear. They can become a gun. They can become anything. If you walk up to them, they'll just spawn in. These guys are really good bosses. They have a good amount of health. They're not too difficult, but they're not too easy. I think they're a perfect balance. The only problem is I think there's just a little too many of them on the higher rounds, but for what they are, they're a pretty good addition. Following the Mimics, we actually have an introduction of a new type of mini-boss zombie, or should I say returning face, the Mangler from Garage Crovey. I mean, they're just like the ones in Garage Crovey, but their cannon tracking is improved, but in trade-off, they're a little stronger in terms of health. You know, they're just as good as they were in Garage Crovey, and these Manglers are actually used to build the wonder weapons, so, you know, I have nothing bad to say about them. Just a great addition. Speaking of great additions, we actually have the addition of more side content from Die Maschine. Die Maschine was seriously lacking on Easter eggs. However, this map actually has a few side Easter eggs you can do. For one, you can actually throw monkey bombs and kill 50 zombies, and this will upgrade your monkey bombs like on Garage Krovi. This map is like a sequel to that map in a way. Another thing you can do is you can do an Easter egg for free jump pads, you can get 2 free perks, and you can even go to the Dark Ether as well. This is really cool as it looks nothing like Die Maschine. It's just a black forest. This is what I'm saying in Dark Ether has so much potential to be an awesome story. However, when we have shitty operators headlining the maps, they can only do so much with the story. With that said though, the writing they do have with Dark Ether is pretty good, and it does really stand on its own and keeps me invested. The only problem, of course, is the intel, the operators, and the way they handle the story. But for what they have, it's pretty good. And speaking of side Easter eggs, the main Easter egg is also pretty good. And like Die Maschine, the Easter egg can literally be done in like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not worth going into all the steps. It's really easy. There are some pretty bad steps though, like the mimic step, where you need to go around the map and find certain mimics in certain locations. However, the game doesn't tell you this, so you can be on the step for a really long time. This step really comes off as a chaos type of step that they would have in one of their maps, and that's not a compliment. Anyway though, for what it is, it's a pretty good Easter egg, as we also get multiple in-game cutscenes of Samantha being retrieved from the Dark Ether. We get the introduction of Dr. Peck, who is one of my favorite Dark Ether characters, and this Easter egg is just really fun to run through if you know what you're doing. Very good Easter egg overall, and it ends with a pretty fun boss fight. The boss fight is against the Orda again, like the one from the assault rounds, and this Orda, while not being the most dangerous boss ever, can catch you off guard if you're not careful. You pretty much just need to shoot the Orda in its mouth, I guess, or its head, or whatever the hell that thing is. You just need to shoot it, and when the Orda's doing a charge attack, it'll be able to take more damage. However, it's going to launch a super strong attack that can hurt you. I like this kind of boss design, as it really motivates you to try to do more damage to the boss. However, it's a risk-reward type of thing. Do you want to get some extra damage in, but at the risk of getting hit by a ton of zombies? Yeah, it's a really good design, although it is a little easy. But for what it is, I think it's a pretty good boss fight. However, this leads me into my con section, which are actually the cutscenes in this game. The cutscenes in this game are animated, just like, you know, in Black Ops 4 in the first half of the game. However, there's a huge problem with them. There's these really ugly bars that make it look like you're watching it on an old TV. It's like half the screen is just cut off by black lines. What were they thinking with this design? It's already bad enough that you can have 4 Samantha Maxes in this cutscene, plus the Samantha Maxes you rescue, but now we have these ugly black lines that ruin the cutscenes in my opinion. I get it's just a nitpick, but it really devalues and makes these cutscenes look a lot worse. Why do they need to be there? Is it for an engine thing? We're on next gen, the Xbox Series X, the PS5. What is going on here? Another huge problem I have with this map is the armored zombies. There are a new type of zombie on this map, like the mimics and the hellhounds. However, they just completely slow down the game to a crawl, because there's heavy armor zombies and then there's normal zombies, but then there's these armored zombies which are like in the middle. However, they're just like the heavy armor zombies and make your gun do no damage, even with the super Easter egg upgrade to your gun. These guys just suck, and all they do is slow down the gameplay. They're not even that hard. Think of the Nova Crawler. They're pretty much like that. Anyway though, that brings us to the end of Firebase Z. I know, I'm surprised too. There's just really not a lot to talk about here. Yes, I'm not talking about the story or Easter egg, but both of them wouldn't even take that long to talk about anyway, you know? The Cold War maps, they do have a good amount of content, and I really do like Firebase Z for what it is. But compared to Die Maschine, is it better? I honestly would say no, but Die Maschine is not better than this map. I think both maps are equal in terms of how fun they are. Both maps have their strengths, both have their weaknesses. This map has a stronger Easter egg than Die Maschine, and a stronger wonder weapon, while Die Maschine just has a much more simple layout, not connected by teleporters. It's a lot more fun to run around Die Maschine. Both maps have their pros and cons, and I think kind of like 5 and Kino, they're like yin and yang. They both have their strengths, they both have their weaknesses. And I think Firebase Z, it does deserve a little more respect from people.